Look, the biggest podcast where you can learn them lessons. Line for line where you can learn from different sections. Made it out the mud, come tell your story, blessings. Never know who listening, never know who stressing. Devon gave you a voice, come speak your honest truth. Line for line, go bar for bar, it's up to you. Wanna talk sports, gov, and politics? Wanna talk about where you from and your accomplishments? The Line for Line is really where you need to be. A platform that's really made for folks like you and me. You can find it all no matter what you seek. Whether you calling or you listening, tune in every week.
All right, just like that, we're back on another episode of Line for Line podcast. We have a very special gentleman in the building. We'll let you introduce yourself to the world, sir.
Yeah, my name is Nathan Blumberg. I am a sports videographer. Currently work with NFL, MLB, NHL, and then remote edit on the side. So that's currently what I'm doing.
Yes, sir. For those people listening to the podcast, how'd you get started doing that?
Oh gosh, I entered the creative world probably 3 years ago as a full-time job, but I started as a hobby probably freshman in high school. Just learned that I loved it. So I dropped out of college actually.
No way.
Did 1 year of school, played college tennis, and then just didn't work out. I didn't apply myself in school a lot.
Oh,
so
no.
took a semester off. Tried my hand at some stuff, and then just fell in love with the sports videography world. The LCC program, which is what I'm in, for the MLB and NFL. Those were kind of new, and so really just fell in love with that job and chasing that as a goal of mine. So I just networked with everybody I could. Just worked in my craft, did local high school sports, and then just kind of went from there.
Now, how did the camera first get put in your hands?
So one of my good friends in high school, his name's Joey Harris. He's more of the editorial type. He does some great work, very different style. Not a lot of people can do. He's up in New York crushing it right now. But during the days of Visco, that app, it was like a little creative app, but he got me started on it, and then we lived really close to each other, and then we found a guy on social media his name is Jay Alvarez. He's a big travel influencer, and then so he was making some really cool stuff. He was crushing YouTube, and Joey and I just kind of fell in love with it. Joey actually started out with the camera, and then I was like, dang, that's definitely something I would love to do. So I kind of hopped on board, kind of copying Joey, honestly. And then he kind of started pivoting towards more the photo route, and then I started going towards the video route. But yeah, Joey definitely got a camera in my hands. The first camera was my mom's camera. It was like a Nikon. I don't know.
Oh, are you still shooting with Nikon now?
No. Sony.
Yes, it's all about Sony. Sony, that's definitely what I shoot with as well.
Yeah, but that's how I got a camera in my hands. Just one of my buddies got me into it, and then my mom had a camera laying around, and that's kind of when I just picked it up and started filming with my friends. And I would film recap summer videos, and so those are really cool to look back on now. But yeah, definitely.
Tell us a little bit about the content, what it was like first starting off, how you had to develop your niche and develop your skills and brush up on your skills. What was it like for you first starting?
Yeah, it was rough. Just it kind of stinks because there's a certain aspect where you got to pay to play. There's just a certain point. If you've maxed out your creativity or your camera, then you can only really take a big jump if you upgrade. But you have to max out the camera you have. You can't just upgrade right off the bat. But starting off with that Nikon, and then my first ever camera that was mine, I got for Christmas, was a Panasonic GH3. And so that was apparently a great budget camera. That was really fun to learn on, but it was really just, I would say my first full year of freelance was really tough. I was really bad at, in a really bad habit of comparing myself and my work to others when they had I would compare my work to others, and they would have 3-4 years of experience, and I was just getting started. And so that was something that I had to come to terms with and really get better at. But it was really just mastering the basics. I just had to focus and grind on, every shoot that I got to do or every opportunity that I had. I would just take it and not try to do anything fancy. I would just get the job done and make sure I did it very well. And then, probably year 2 is when I started to dive into After Effects a little bit and then add in some, transition packs, whatever, coloring. But year 1 was definitely just getting the right mindset and humbling myself. But yeah, and then I'm currently in year 3. And so right now what I'm focusing on is actually going back to the basics. I'm trying to, not stay too far ahead. I'm trying to get back to the basics, make sure I have everything good. And then I'm going to try my hand at, some more cinema line projects this year. That's something that I haven't gotten to do yet. I've rarely touched cinema line cameras. So that'll be really fun. But yeah, from year 1 to this year, it's been a ride. So
at what point was it when you realized that you were different than those around you and just in your area? At what point was it that you realized you had that it factor to be able to work with the MLB, NFL, and beyond?
Honestly, I don't know if I'm much different than any other creator. It was honestly just, I guess I had some tough stuff go on in that 1 year of college that I had, and then to drop out and take the chance that I took, that was kind of what pushed me. I feel like more than the people that were around me. I always tell people that, like, everybody's timeline's different. So I'm 22 years old, full-time freelance, and some other guys come up to me that are, 26, 27. And they're asking me like, I feel like I'm doing it wrong because you're 22 years old. You've already got it all figured out. And like, that's not the case at all. Like, but just, it was, networking was really huge for me. I feel like that propelled me really far. And then my work ethic. I talked about this with somebody the other day, but I think it's really important to have, like, the grind, be willing to work, 18 hours, whatever, a day, to get to where you want to be. But it's also very important to know when to turn it off because you'll experience burnout.
Oh my gosh. Trust me, I know all about that. Especially when you do a lot of stuff yourself. Because obviously me, I run a podcast. So imagine just the amount of equipment and the type of different things that I'm doing as a podcast. Of course, I'll do the interview, but then I'm recording as well too, booking interviews. So much that goes into running that successful thing. You reach your burnout phase, and I'm actually just coming out of my burnout phase right now. Seriously. And not to cut you off or anything like that, but I think that's what got me out of it was just reaching out to the NCAA, reaching out to different basketball organizations. Hey, is it possible to get media credentials to come to your game, record some highlights, interview some players and everything like that? And then I start hearing yeses, and February marks year 1 of my journey when it comes to doing my videography and everything. And I'm hearing answers like yes from the NCAA. Got a couple other things in the work as well too, and it's like that's what motivated me to keep going and get outside of that burnout, because before that I was burnt. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. It's just so much work. And as you stated before, you look at different creator stuff and then you're like, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Is my stuff not good? And then you fall into that circle of feeling like the victim, and you're like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not good because I'll see this person's stuff and they're working in the NFL or they're getting thousands of likes on their reels or whatever the case may be. When you have to realize how much goes into it, because there's times where I'll feel like I did not do a good job on my video, but then so many people who make content as well, they're like, dude, that was really, really good. So it's like the stuff that I see, everyone else isn't going to see, but it's like when you're a perfectionist, that's when you fall into that.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like so many of us creators are perfectionists, just like, I guess, by the nature of the craft. And so I feel like a lot of us creators deal with like creative burnout, and then obviously like just self-criticism, like maybe we're a little too harsh on ourselves sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it definitely gets crazy, and that's awesome though that you're year one and you're already fighting creative burnout, getting back into it. Like that's huge steps for sure.
Exactly. What were some things that you felt like you did to maybe not look at other creator stuff and compare yourself or fall into that scope of work?
I still struggle with this today, honestly. Like,
No way.
yeah, 100%.
You're making reels for Tom Brady and stuff like that. You feel
it's definitely like I always feel like I could do better than what I did, and I hate that feeling. Like,
yeah.
It's I'm trying to explain it. Gosh, sorry, I'm drawing a blank. What was the question again?
we were talking about how you fought the feeling of looking at other creators' work,
Yes,
and how
okay.
you got out of that.
Gotcha. So I kind of just changed my perspective and changed my mindset. The feeling never really went away. It's just kind of how I viewed it.
Mm,
So I more look at it now of like gratitude. Like I'm grateful for the spot that I'm in instead of looking forward to the spot where I'm aiming to be or have goals to go to. There's so many creators that I look up to and I love their work. They crush it all the time. And I'm like, man, like, why can't I be doing that right now?
mhm,
And just, it's the case of like, I'm in a learning season and not an earning season.
mhm,
And so I have to take that into consideration. I have so many great opportunities around me, NFL, MLB, NHL, and those are all great. And, I'm always trying to get to the next level. But at some point, you have to stop trying to earn and, all that stuff and just like take a second, take a step back, be grateful for where you're at, the opportunities you have, the people that I get to shoot, and just learn and, be comfortable with it. You have to be okay with the stage, of your timeline that you're in.
mhm,
And that's kind of what I've been learning. I would definitely say year 2 and year 3 for me was learning to be okay with what stage of, wherever I was on the timeline, just
mhm.
being okay with it. So I'm always gonna have guys that I look up to, always gonna see people that just create insane work, way better than me.
Mhm.
But I also have to take into consideration like they have a different timeline. They might have had 10 plus years of work more than me. Way more years of grinding and late nights and stuff. And so I just got to take a step back, pay my dues, and
Yeah. That's
just
crazy that you say that. I was just battling that like a week or so ago. There was a college that I reached out to for media credentials, and I was told no, and it hurt. It hurt so much. I was just like, I was ready to cry because I was like, is my work not good? But maybe they heard something like, oh no, his podcast isn't, whatever the case may be.
yeah,
And I had to think. I was like, just be thankful that you are hearing yeses
yeah,
year one of even reaching out to outside of high school basketball. Because as you said, I started with high school basketball, high school sports as well too. But to hear yeses from first year colleges, it's like just be thankful for that. And sometimes no isn't just a no. Maybe it's just not right now, or we
exactly.
have other opportunities that we've already said we would give out, So I had
Mm,
to really fall into that category and think like that. Like, just don't think of it like that. Just be thankful for what it is that you are doing and the joy that you bring to other people now.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just I think of it too, like none of my close friends are in the same industry I am.
Mhm.
So whenever I go hang out with them, go back to my hometown, see some old friends, like they're always like hyping me up, like, oh my gosh, dude, like that's crazy. Like you got pictures with Tom Brady, whatever, this and that. And so that kind of helps me. It doesn't blow my head up. It kind of humbles me because I'm like, wow, like people would kill to be where we're at. The
Mhm.
us sports creatives, they would kill to be on the basketball court with these athletes or the football field. And so that kind of helps me, reel myself in a little bit and like, wow, like I have it great. Like I'm
Yeah.
able to do this full time and I shouldn't be complaining that I'm not here. I should just be grateful that I'm present.
Yeah.
So
Can you tell
yeah.
us a little bit about the process of staying humble? As you stated, you're on the field with Tom Brady's of the world, other NFL players, people who are worldwide famous. How is it that you continue to stay humble and just be a decent person?
Man, gosh, part of that is my faith. So I'm Christian. I give everything that I've done um, to God, and for where I'm at today. But um, besides that, it's just the whole timeline thing helps me a lot. Just staying humble and trying to encourage other people who they will come to me with not complaints, but just like, hard thoughts about their timeline. And so I just try to tell everybody, give everybody grace and love, and then just reassure them that, they have a time, their time is going to come. They just got to keep your head down and keep putting the work in. Because I realize that my timeline is a little fast. And so, I don't like when people try to compare timelines because, a lot of different circumstances happen in my life. I wish I didn't have to start my career at 19, and I wish I'd, got a couple more years of college sports. But would I change any of that? No. It was just, the cards I got dealt. It was God's plan ultimately, and so I'm grateful for where I'm at today.
Yeah.
And then as far as like, being on the field with Tom Brady and, and humble in that aspect, I never really think of myself as like a creative on like that level. Like I don't think I'm above anybody else. Like I believe that there are tons of creators that could do my job. But they just haven't gotten the right opportunities yet. They haven't networked the right way yet. I feel like a lot of pieces just fell right for me. A lot of pieces came into place for me. And so that's another reason I stay humble is like anybody can take my job at any moment. Like not really, but that's what I'm thinking. Like
there's
a lot of great creators out there.
Go hard or go home.
Exactly.
This is a business.
Everybody wants to be on the field. So, I'm not going to take anything for granted. And then I also embrace that feeling, that challenge, because if I don't have that competitive feeling or challenge, then I'm going to slacken my work, because I'm not worried about, the people coming up, but there's so many great creators. So that's also what keeps me humble is just, trying to do the best work I can and keep my job.
Of course. Now with you being in the big leagues, has there ever been a time where you maybe messed up or made a mistake? Maybe the ISO was too high, forgot a memory card or just anything like that?
100%.
No way.
Yeah,
Still?
dude. Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah. So, there's been a couple of times in the MLB. I actually have this with me. So this, I don't know if you know what this is. It's a lightning to SD card. For anybody who doesn't know, this is one of the lifesavers in the kind of fast content, turnaround game. Plug your SD card in, plug it into your phone. You have everything you need from your camera. And so that is how we send stuff for all the sports I do for NHL, NFL, and MLB. And so this happened last season. I'm about to come up on my third MLB season. But last season, middle of the season, random game was actually a big game. It was like, I think it was Boston versus Tampa, big, divisional game. And that I could literally forget everything else in my bag. And if I don't have this, it doesn't matter. And I forgot it at home.
Oh no.
And I was looking around and I was like, dude, you gotta be kidding me. Luckily we get there like 4 hours before game time. So I texted my boss. I was like, hey, I'm going to miss warm-ups. Like, I would rather go home and get this and be proficient during the game than try to, like, makeshift everything the whole game. So he was like, cool, no worries. Like, go for it. So I drove home, and then I drive. It's like 20 minutes away. And then I start driving back, and then there's a wreck. I hit 5 o'clock traffic.
Oh, no.
And, dude, I pull up, like, right when the warm-ups ended, which is like an hour before game time. It took me like an hour and a half for like a 30-minute trip. I was like stressing so hard. And then, I got this, whatever. So that's happened like twice.
Oh no.
Only twice in my 2 years, but that's been big. And then there was 2 instances. So I worked the Jaguars-Ravens game this year.
Whoa.
That was when the Jaguars came back and then scored a 2-point conversion to win it. And it was, I don't know if they were down. I think they were down they were down a touchdown with like 55 seconds left. And so all of us had already gotten our post-game requests and stuff. So I went to swap my lenses and I put on this kit lens 28-70. And then all of a sudden, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars just start driving down the field. And I'm just sitting in the end zone with this 28 millimeter lens. I'm like, dude, I can't capture any of this stuff. Like, you can't even see anybody.
Yeah.
So they start driving down, whatever. And luckily, there was 2 other guys with me, and they had their longer lenses. So I was prepared to go grab Zay Jones as soon as actually, it wasn't even Zay Jones. It was Justin Tucker because the Ravens were going to win at the time. And so I was prepared to go get Justin Tucker, run on the field with my small kit lens. And then I had to improvise because they were going for 2. So I had to pick, like, if the Jags win it right here, I got to go grab this guy, whatever. And then all of a sudden for the touchdown, when they scored, I had this lens. And the touchdown came right to me. And so I was recording just in case, like, by, anything that it would come to me, I would get a shot with this lens.
Yeah.
And it came to me. And so this lens, it's a variable f-stop, 3.5 to 5.6. My other lens is not. It's a 5.6. And so I wasn't even thinking. And so I zoomed out all the way to 28 millimeters, and it went to 3.5.
Oh, no.
Shot was blown out. Whole shot was so overexposed. And it was literally the money shot too, of Marvin Jones stretching his hands out, celebrating. That was one of, like, the shots I wish I could have back. And then one Buccaneer shot, that same situation happened. Tom had a game-winning drive against, I believe it was the Rams and the Saints, which is crazy enough. But the Rams, same situation. There was like 50 seconds left. Grabbed the small lens, was ready to run out on the field, and then Tom just starts throwing dots, driving down the field. And then I didn't miss the shot, but I only had this 28 millimeter, and the touchdown happened on the other side of the end zone, so I didn't get it. But yeah, so I mess up. I don't mess up a lot, but those are like my shots I wish I could have back.
How is it that you bounce back from moments like that? Give a fellow content creator some tips, because there's times where I'm doing the same thing, messing up, overblown shots just blown out, overexposed, underexposed.
Yeah.
Especially when I went to the Illinois versus Badgers game, to maintain that orange in that arena was the hardest thing I've ever faced since I started filming. It was just, I just couldn't master it. It was just, I don't know. It was just really hard for me to get that orange down pat.
I got you. So, gosh, baseball, it's really easy to kind of like just brush it off and go to the next game, because we LCC shoot 81 home games.
Oh, wow.
So, we can't get caught up on one game because ultimately, they're not going to use every picture, every play, because it would get super saturated with, a home, if they posted a home run every day, just kind of that stuff.
Yeah.
So just kind of learn from it. You get a lot of reps, a lot of practice with MLB games. So by the end of the season, you're flowing, you're comfortable, and you're ready for the big stuff, especially at the end of the season when the big games come. NFL, with my first season, man, it was tough because just filming the Bucks, they had a tough schedule, and they had some big hitters too. Like, I was hoping that my first game would be like, the Bucks and the Texans, or it would be like a good warm up game that didn't really matter. The first home game was Sunday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. That was my first game ever.
First game ever?
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady?
Yeah, I'm like, way to throw me in the fire.
Yeah.
But so that was a fun game to learn. I personally think I crushed that game a lot better than I expected. But after that, touchdown drive that I missed mid-season, I was just kind of I wasn't bummed about it because there's 3 of us on the field, and so hopefully like one of us would actually get the shot, which they did. But it was really just being prepared for anything, because on the football field, you only get, 8 or 9 home games instead of 81. The stakes are a lot higher. Plays happen a lot faster. So I guess you just can't really think about your mistakes. You can learn from them, but don't sulk on them. And so, I was bummed that I missed that game-winning drive. But then at the end of the day, like, I got to learn, like, okay, like next time just in case like some crazy stuff happens like that, I'm going to have my 70 to 200 right behind me. So
always ready.
Exactly. Because I made the mistake of just leaving it in the photo room. And so I didn't have enough time to go swap it. So I had to stick with that kit lens.
I'm surprised you don't run around with 2 cameras. You just run around with the one?
Yeah, just one. I had in the season, I'm trying to think, I had 2 A7 III bodies. And then ultimately I just found myself not really using the second body. So I would just I sold the 2 A7 III bodies and then upgraded to the A7 IV. And then I'll just swap lenses when I have to.
There you go.
So definitely trying to still perfect that workflow, but just
of course,
can't sulk on it. So
now, as we get ready to close out this phenomenal episode, what would be that piece of advice that you would give to a fellow content creator who wants to keep I can't talk for some reason. Keep achieving success and reaching new heights?
Man, it's just never stop wanting to learn. Because for me, there's a difference from never stop learning and then never stop wanting to learn. Because if you're eager to learn, things will come a lot easier and faster in your timeline. You're almost willing to go put in the stupid amount of hours that we creatives have to put in. You're willing to do a lot of things. You're going to grow. And then also just, make sure you use YouTube University to your advantage. I've learned, I didn't go to school for anything. I learned everything I know off YouTube.
Let's go. Let's go out here giving people hope who didn't go to college for broadcasting and videography.
Okay. Yeah, I know everything, and I don't know all the crazy terms and terminology, but if you give me a camera, I can shoot with it.
Yeah. So, yes, sir.
But that and just be grateful for where you're at. If you get to the point where you can be a full-time freelancer videographer, just be grateful. A lot of people kill to where you're at. So just don't ever stop working and don't ever stop learning.
One last question, just a side note before we end. About how much time would you say you've invested into this just for free? That was not paid events, just you showing love and just trying to perfect your craft.
Gosh, so my first year of work, I was gracious enough to get to work alongside one of the best quarterback trainers in the country. Trains Gardner Minshew, a bunch of other SEC quarterbacks. And he brought me on, took a chance on me. And besides working that, I would take free football games. I would do free photo shoots. I would chop prices off weddings, like anything to help me build a portfolio. I just try to tell people, like, your first year of work, you're not going to be rolling in the dough. Like, you're going to need to cough up some free stuff, like get your portfolio going, get a network going. And then ultimately, when you have a good network, or even just a network in general, that's going to help you in the long run. So don't worry about the money. It'll come. You just got to put the work in.
Yes, sir. Man, that was a great end right there. We greatly appreciate you for having some time for us, Nathan. We definitely love having you on the show, and we'll be reaching out to you very soon.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
You calling or you listening, tune in every week. Line for line. Oh yeah, I'm going line for line.